questions?
No.
Okay. We are live. I'm gonna send you guys the questions. Can you all see the questions on the chat? Questions? Okay. So let's start. I've introduced myself for João and Claudio, who got here later. I am Sarah, I'm 26. I work as a software developer. And that's it. And I really like coffee. Laiane, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Laiane. I am 29 years. I am executive secretary, yes. And I have one dog, Zeus, my son, my little son. I like the chocolate, yes. And like it not, I love the chocolate, yes. And I am here for learning speaking. I better my listen, yes. So sometimes I don't speak the word, but I can speak in Portuguese, okay? So let's go. That's it.
Nice. Thank you, Laiane. Yeah, guys, as Laiane said, we are here to make mistakes. So it doesn't matter if you speak Portuguese with English, all right? The important is that we can communicate with each other, all right? Rogério, can you introduce yourself, please?
Of course, okay. Well, guys, good afternoon again. I'm Rogério. I'm 43. I live in Cosmópolis, São Paulo. I'm married. I have 2 kids, and I work as a manufacturer analyst. But today is my first day of my vacation. It's amazing. And yeah, I have been learning English for 2.5 years. And it's a pleasure, guys, to be here to practice English with you all. Okay, thank you.
That's nice, Rogério. Welcome to your vacation. Claudio, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name is Claudio. I'm 38, from Guarulhos, São Paulo, and I work with IT. But I work with manager servers, on cloud and on-premise environment. And what else? I have been attending classes in TNT since January this year, for a long time. And it's a great environment to practice English, and that's it.
Thank you, Claudio. João, how about you?
Hi, my name is João. I'm from Campo Grande. I'm studying economics in Campo Grande, and I almost every week come over here to discuss good topics and practice a little bit of English.
That's nice. Thank you, João. Thalita, can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Thalita. I'm living in Minas Gerais, mas eu nasci no Espírito Santo. I lived for 4 months, 4 meses atrás em São Paulo. I live with my boyfriend. He is programador Elixir. Eu quero aprender inglês para conseguir fazer uma viagem em 2023. Na verdade, estou estudando 4 idiomas, que é inglês, espanhol, francês e... Inglês, espanhol, francês, eu me perco às vezes. Inglês, espanhol, francês e alemão. E o meu principal objetivo é o inglês e o alemão.
That's nice. That's so nice. I am also from Espírito Santo. I'm from Vitória. And I've moved here to Minas to study. Where do you live in Minas? Which city?
Small city, Manhumirim.
Oh, Manhumirim.
Yes.
Is in the road from Vitória to Viçosa.
Ah,
Manhumirim e Manhuaçu, right?
sim, right. Eu nasci no Espírito Santo, morei em São Paulo de janeiro a abril, de dezembro a abril, por conta do trabalho do meu namorado, e atualmente a gente está passando tempo em Minas. Próximo destino é Curitiba, tomara.
That's so nice. That's so nice. And so nice of you to learn 4 languages. I only know English, but I studied German for a while and it's very hard.
Yes, very hard. Quem fala que inglês e alemão é parecido, não sei, acho que não está estudando os dois, porque para mim não tem nada a ver.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, guys, so let's talk about natural disasters. Question number 1. What comes to mind when you hear the term natural disasters? João, can you start?
Yes, it came to my mind the movie 2012, because that movie was a conjunction of all the natural disasters that I can imagine. That there were earthquakes, there were tsunamis, there were like hurricanes. So when I hear about that term, I think of all those natural disasters that were in the movie.
Yeah, I remember that I was so afraid to watch that movie. I've never watched it because I don't like this kind of movie of natural disasters. But yeah, it sums very well what a natural disaster is. Thank you, João. Laiane, what about you? Question number 1.
So, como eu posso falar? Personal people is dying, destruction, yes? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you just because you're frozen, but I can hear you.
Ok. Aqui para mim tudo travou. Yes, destructions. She's cities, the city, the over, yes.
The what?
Cidades assim acabadas, né, com a destruição, enfim.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
So I forgot what you said. Destruction, the cities are destructed. I forgot the rest. You said it at the beginning. What?
People's dying.
People dying. Thank you. My audio was a little off. But so destruction, people dying. João said about tsunamis and earthquakes. Rogério, what else? What comes to mind when you talk about natural disasters?
Well, I mean, pretty much what you guys already have said. I mean, I remember the terrible disaster that happened in 2004, I guess, in Indonesia, about the terrible tsunami that happened there, and where a lot of people uh, uh, died. And I mean, they also made a film, a move named the Impossible. I don't know if you guys already watched this. Yeah, the movie is great, it's amazing, but it's based in true events, unfortunately. And yeah, a lot of people died in this terrible disaster. And I mean, it's so sad when this kind of thing happen, but the main people who suffer a lot with this kind of event is the poor people, unfortunately, because they always live near the danger areas. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rogério. Poor people always suffers the most with these natural disasters. Talita, what about you? Question number 1. What comes to mind when we hear the term natural disasters?
Amazon Forest, desmatamento da floresta que pode trazer, né, desastres naturais, tsunami, descongelamento das calotas polares, aquecimento global, né? É tudo isso que me vem à mente quando eu penso.
Nice. So Talita brought to us another perspective. What about the natural disasters? Because those things that she said happens when we human beings do something, you know, like deforesting the Amazon forests and something like that, global warming. And I wanted to add one more, that is the flood. So the flood and the rains that we have here on Teresópolis, Rio de Janeiro. We had this year, I think, last year, I don't remember, but the flood, enchente, is also a natural disaster that happens here in Brazil, right? All right, guys, question number 2. Would you move if you lived in a country where natural disasters were common? So now we live in a blessed country. We don't have earthquakes, we don't have tsunamis. But if we did have those, would you guys move? João, what do you do?
No, I wouldn't move because aside from earthquakes, I think nowadays there are a lot of resources to understand and to have a prevention when those natural disasters occur. Because, for example, in Florida there was a hurricane, and you could have with the news. You could have had with the news a lot of information about the hurricane, when it was coming and where it was going to pass in Florida. So you had some time to prepare, and I think a lot of natural disasters you can have some preparation. Of course, that there are some others that you cannot what's the name?
Prevent?
Predict. You cannot
Predict.
predict.
Nice.
Yeah. There are other natural disasters that you can't predict because there are not such technology to predict. But I think the most of them you can predict, so you can prevent. And I wouldn't move if I lived in a country like this.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good thing that you said, João, because I was thinking here, we can predict what is going to happen, and we can also choose. Sometimes we can choose where to build our houses, so where to live. Maybe if I was gonna move to a city, a country where they have volcanoes, I would try to not to live near the volcano, so I don't get hit by when the volcano erupts or something like that. All right, guys. Rogério, what about you? Question number 2. Would you move?
Well, in my case, of course not. I mean, I wanna to be safe, my family and I. So, of course, I wouldn't move to a country with this kind of danger at all. And Sarah, it was really funny what you said, because you said we are lucky because in Brazil we don't have hurricane, tornado, tsunami. However, our politicians are completely disaster. They are other kind of disaster, if you know what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rogério. That's a good point. But you've told me that if you have to move, if you could choose to move to a city with natural disasters, you wouldn't move, right?
Oh, for sure. Of course not. I
Yeah,
would
but
stay here.
what about if Brazil had a lot of natural disasters? Would you
Mm,
move?
No. Of course, I would search for a safe place for my family and I. I mean, because I have kids, and I wanna. I'm in charge to provide a better life for them, and of course, I would choose a safe place for us. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to move when you already live in a country and you are already established, right? Thank you, Rogério. Talita, what about you? Question number 2.
Um, I would, um, because I could get peace of mind. Um, I'm living in Orange, preocupada, né? Eu sairia com certeza porque eu ia viver preocupada, eu não ia viver. Toda vez que eu pisar na rua, eu ia ficar preocupada. Então, com certeza eu me mudaria. Eu dou graças a Deus todos os dias que I live em Brasília, porque os nossos desastres naturais aqui, na verdade, muitos poderiam ser evitados. Como, por exemplo, enchentes, né? Se a gente tivesse um bom saneamento básico, não seria problema uma chuva forte.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, the flood, as enchentes, they are complicated because poor people live near the river, right? So nobody's gonna want to help poor people. The government kind of don't cares about them and not gonna move a lot of poor people move out of the margin of the rivers. So yeah, we could avoid that, but it's complicated to avoid that. All right, guys, question number 3. Have you ever experienced a natural disaster? João?
No, I've never experienced a natural disaster, and the Californians as well. But California is a place that can occur and historically has occurred some earthquakes and tsunamis like 50 years ago or 100 years ago. But people still live there. I think people don't think it is going to occur again. There is a fail in the soil, like it's named San Andreas, that that pass across all the California state, and it's an area of instability because of the encounter of two tectonical, I don't know the name, tectonical plates. but because the last earthquake occurred like 50 years ago or 60 years ago in California, people don't think that it is going to happen again. So yeah, I've never experienced, and I think I think in the Californians neither as well. But yeah, maybe it can happen.
Just to be sure, you don't live in California. You just naming them as an example, right? I cannot hear you.
Yeah, right.
Oh. Okay. All right. So it's a great example. Yeah. What John said is he never experienced, but also neither the Californians did, right? They lived there for a long time and they know they're gonna face natural disasters, but they didn't face it yet. All right, Rogério, question number 3. Have you ever experienced a natural disaster?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't a natural disaster, I would say, but once I was in Campinas, São Paulo, and all of a sudden it started to rain a lot, by the way. And guys, it was so quickly. Then the water started to raise, and then I stopped in a store to wait until the rain stopped, and of course it didn't stop, and the water raised until my belly. Then I of course I got scared. I thought, whoa, come on, what's going on? I will die here. And then, yeah, it was so scared. I got so scared, and thank God the rain stopped. And but of course, I got so scared because at that time my children were young children. They are just a baby, and yeah, of course, I got so scared. And in Campinas, São Paulo, in some areas when it rained a lot, maybe it became very dangerous. Mainly in the century. Okay.
Yeah, that's dangerous too. For me, it's a mix of natural disasters with humans' lack of planning, the lack of city planning. So like Thalita said, we don't have a nice saneamento básico, I forgot the word in English. And we don't have that kind of draining of the water. And you, Thalita, question number 3. Have you ever experienced a natural disaster?
No, I never experienced a natural disaster.
Okay, thank you. I've experienced one. My family is from Cataguases, is a city here in Minas Gerais, and every year or so they have like this big flood that happens during the rainy periods like January, December, and the poor people are the most disadvantaged people because they live near the river. And they have to take all of their stuff out of their houses and then wait for the water to go down and bring their stuff again into the house. It's horrible. Anyways, question number 4. What was the last natural disaster you saw on TV? João?
The Ian hurricane. It was the last natural disaster that I saw on TV.
This was the one in Florida?
Yeah, last week.
Okay. How do you spell that?
Ian hurricane?
Ian, like Y-I-N?
No, like I-A-N.
Thank you. Got it. Thank you.
Like the name Ian.
Yeah, because I didn't know the name. I was just aware that there was a hurricane in Florida, but I didn't know the name. Guys, I'm sorry if it's a lot of noises here. We have a construction work here. Rogério, what about you?
Well, actually, we have been seeing this hurricane in US, in Florida, I guess. We are seeing it, on the news. But I recall, I don't know if it was a natural disaster in Minas Gerais, Brumadinho, about that company, Vale do Rio Doce. They had a kind of problem there, and a lot of water covered the city, and a lot of people died a couple years ago. I think you know more than me, Sarah, because you are from Minas, I guess. And yeah, I remember this very well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't like to call that a natural disaster. That was a murder. For me, it was a murder because they knew about this, and the people, the dam, I think that's the name, the dam, a represa, that held all of that liquid, that was made by humans. So it was not natural,
I agree with you.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Rogério. Thalita, what about you?
I didn't watch. I didn't watch on TV. I'm watching streams, platform streams. I stopped watching TV since I was 19 anos, porque eu percebi que o conteúdo que estava lá não era o que eu queria consumir, justamente por conta dessas situações que todos vocês citaram, né? Toda vez que ligava a televisão era novela, ou era jornal, que, né, não tinha nenhum conteúdo que me deixava feliz. Então eu parei de assistir televisão quando eu tinha 18, 19 anos.
Yeah, TV brings a lot of bad news. You're
Yeah.
right. Guys, what do you think about we'll move on to question number 7? Because we didn't experience natural disasters, so we didn't prepare for one, I think. Let's answer question number 7. Do you think natural disasters are happening more frequently in the world today? João, what do you think?
I think on one hand, as a perception, I see that there is happening a lot of natural disasters. Like there was a lack of natural disaster of hurricane in the United States between 1980 and 2024, and other lack of natural disasters between 1992 and 1998. And now we see a much less range. Like now we see a very small range, like 2 years between a hurricane and another, 1 year between a hurricane and another. So I see it is happening. I think it is happening in a much more frequency. But on the other hand, as I said, on one hand, the perception is that it is occurring with more frequency. But on the other hand, natural disasters have been occurring in world since the beginning of all the history, and there in the past there were some very huge natural disasters in the planet, and much more bigger than what we see nowadays. Like there was the Krakatoa. If someone see in history, I'm gonna I think it's that the name. If you see it was like a huge explosion, of volcano that it it don't happen nowadays. So it happened in 1874, and it was very huge. Like it was in Oceania. I don't know the name of the continent in English, but you could see the smoke in Europe. Like there was like near Australia, and you could see the smoke in Europe, like 5,000 kilometers away. So I cannot say if it is happening more frequently, because there were some big explosions and big events in the past, but it's becoming more common, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. When we study about dinosaurs and the periods after dinosaurs, we learn that all of the natural disasters happen here in Earth with a high frequency, you know, so they happen a lot. They had a lot of tough winters and tough summers. I don't know if that's right, but the temperature was very strong. So yeah, maybe we cannot compare a lot how if these natural disasters are happening with a higher frequency, because we didn't live in those ages like 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Anyways, thank you, João. Rogério, what about you? Question number 7.
Question number 7. Oh gosh, I forgot. Okay. So yeah, I think so. I think nowadays natural disaster is happening more than the past. I mean, Sarah, we can deny it. We are more than 8 billion people on Earth. It's crazy. It's crazy because do you think that we have food enough to feed all of these people? No, of course not. And because of that, we have to cut our rainforests to grow food for there's a lot of people, especially in Brazil. We have to cut our rainforest to grow food. I mean, it's crazy because I think we are out of control, totally out of control, because we have a lot of people on Earth. I mean, and and I don't see anyone talking about it at all. So because of that, for example, in this year, a couple of days ago, in England, people were dying of because of a heat wave, and they are not used to with this kind of weather at all. For them, it's so weird, so strange, because they are more used to with the cold weather, and a lot of people died there because they had a heat wave. And it's because, in my humble opinion, it's because the climate change. We are damaging our own planet. It's crazy, and of course, it has been happening a lot lately. Okay.
Yes, Rogério, I agree with you. These temperature swings, are very, very dangerous for us nowadays. Thank you. Thalita, what about you? Question number 7.
Agora, a partir do 7 em diante, eu vou ficar só ouvindo, porque acabei meu vocabulário.
Do you want to answer? Do you understand the question?
Mais ou menos, eu entendi mais ou menos. O que eu acho dos desastres naturais no mundo hoje, algo do tipo? Não entendi muito bem.
Você acha que a gente está tendo desastres naturais com mais frequência hoje em dia?
Olha, é complicado responder porque eu não acompanho o noticiário, né? Mas assim, na minha opinião, não. Não acho que esteja tendo desastres naturais, não. Eu lembro quando eu era criança, já tendo desastres naturais, mas eu não vejo como mais do que antigamente. Eu lembro quando eu era mais criança, era direto notícia no jornal de tsunami, de terremoto, e esse tipo de coisa. E tem tempo que eu não vejo esse tipo de desastres grandes, né? Esses desastres que, assim, igual um vulcão entrar em erupção, digamos assim. Tem tempo que eu não vejo. Nos Estados Unidos, algumas partes é bem comum, né? De tsunami e tudo mais, é como se fosse nossa chuva aqui. Mas eu não lembro qual foi a última vez que eu ouvi falar desse tipo de desastre. Eu lembro quando eu era mais nova que era muito comum. Era praticamente quase que todo mês tinha em alguns países, né?
É bem notada. Realmente eu lembro que a gente tinha muito mais notícia de tsunami, essas coisas, quando eu era menor mesmo.
Sim.
Okay, guys, question number 8. What is the worst natural disaster in your opinion? João.
Like the worst in the opinion of the specialist, or the worst like that I think it was?
That you think, like, if it happens to you, what was the worst thing that could happen?
Earthquake. I think it's the most unpredictable natural disaster, because tsunami is formed from earthquake, so you can have instruments to predict that they occurred somewhere in the ocean, and that it is going to wave in some great tsunami and is going to hit the coast. But hurricanes as well, you can predict from meteorologists the weather and see that it is forming a hurricane in, I don't know, in the Caribbean, and it is going to hit Florida or something, or somewhere else. But earthquakes and volcano eruptions, there is no boundaries to predict, and it's something that just happen and just occur from a time to other, and you cannot see that coming. So I think, if for me, it's the worst natural disasters, because you cannot see coming, so you cannot hide, and you only can hope.
João, I gotta say, I am learning a lot from you today. Thank you for this. All right, guys. Rogério, question number 8. What's the worst natural disaster in your opinion?
Well, Sarah, actually, we have a lot of them nowadays, you know. I mean, we can see nowadays that we are having the melting ice in the North Pole and the South too. And yeah, like I said before, the heat wave. For example, I have a friend, and once he told me, Roger, 30 years ago, here in Brazil, in the summer weather, we could sleep without a ventilator, without air conditioner air. But nowadays, guys, it's almost impossible to for us sleep without a ventilator, without a air conditioner air in the summer and the weather, you know. And yeah, we have a lot of them, but I would say that the main the main cause is the climate change, the worst of them for sure. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Rogério. Thalita, what about you? What's your opinion?
Vou falar em português. Eu acho que com certeza de tsunami, porque eu fico pensando que vai ser desesperador você olhar, ver que a onda tá vindo e não poder fazer nada. Não adianta sair correndo, não adianta. Vai tomar tudo, assim. Você saber que literalmente a morte está vindo ao seu encontro deve ser bem, bem complicado. Eu acho que o tsunami deve ser o pior de todos.
É, faz sentido. Para mim também eu fico pensando assim, né? Quando eu tô na casa de alguém que é virado pra praia, eu falo, cara, imagina se tem um tsunami aqui, eu morro na hora.
Eu penso a mesma coisa, a gente que vem da área de praia, né? Que é muito comum, qualquer esquina tem praia. Fala, nossa, já era.
Sim. Mas é o que o João falou, né? Tipo, a tsunami tem como você prever. O que não tem como você prever hoje em dia é o terremoto e a erupção do vulcão. Então, às vezes, você mora numa área litorânea ali, com praia, recebeu a predição lá de que vai acontecer tsunami, você tem a opção de sair, né? Mas leva a sua casa, leva um monte de coisa.
Eu vejo desastre natural como algo que, mesmo que dê para ser previsto, você não previu, sabe? Eu acho que se você prevê e dá para você fazer alguma coisa, já não é mais um desastre, digamos assim, né? Na minha concepção, né? Então, assim, o mar vai invadir, aí sai todo mundo, bacana, ninguém morre, tudo bem, perdeu a casa, perdeu tudo, mas com certeza os lugares que tem esse tipo de desastre, eles já têm já uma administração para caso isso vá acontecer, né? Para conseguir ajudar essas famílias. Agora, quando não é previsto e acontece, aí é realmente bem complicado.
I agree with you. Okay, guys, let's go to question number 9. Do you think the world should be more concerned about natural disasters or something caused by man, for example, terrorism? Do you guys understand the question? Rogério, do you understand the question?
Yes, I do. So, well, in my opinion, for example, we are living in a natural disaster caused by man right now. Is the war between Russia and Ukraine? It's crazy, you know. It could be avoided, but the main character is not interested in that at all. I don't know why. He wants more power, I guess. He wants to control that region, but we have this kind of crazy war between Russia and Ukraine, and it could be avoided, you know, without a shot of doubt. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you think we should spend more time worrying about those kind of things like war as opposed to natural disasters like a tsunami?
I think both of them, you know, both of them. But natural disaster caused by the nature, it's for us sometimes it's impossible to prevent. But a war, terrorism, and things like that is completely able for us to avoid, you know. But you know, they are not doing that, and they prefer to have this war and kill a lot of killing a lot of innocent people there. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rogério. Thank you. João, what do you think?
Talking about natural disasters, I think we should prepare, because some areas we already know that historically has been occurring, has been happening natural disasters. So we should prepare. So we should be concerned about that and create platforms to evacuate people and to limitate the damage and to limitate the collateral damage and etc. But I think though I think these areas that natural disasters are common already have some prepared instructions and some prepared infrastructures to evacuate, to inform the population, and etc. So I think the more, and it's interesting because the natural the natural should be the most unpredictable, but I think nowadays what men have been causing is become more unpredictable than the natural disasters. So number one, I think that we should be concerned and we should prepare, but I think the most concern should go the most concerning thoughts should go to to the disasters caused by man, because it's become unpredictable.
Yeah, people are unpredictable, right? We cannot guess what they're gonna do next. So it's very dangerous to trust people and let them do what they want. Thalita, yeah, you can say, João. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's just that you said this now, and I thought people are unpredictable. So if you put a lot of power in the hand of, for example, Vladimir Putin, or in the hand of, I don't know, Xi Jinping, there these people are unpredictable. So it's a lot dangerous. It's true.
Yeah, they can maybe kill more people than a natural disaster, right? It's oh my God, it's sad to hear that. Thalita, what about you? Question number 9.
Eu acho que o homem deveria se preocupar com ambos, né? Mas principalmente com os desastres naturais, esse tipo de coisa, com o meio ambiente em si. Para mim, o ser humano é o único animal que destrói o próprio ambiente, né? Se a gente não tem onde viver, a gente não tem nada. Então, esse deveria ser o ponto principal de preocupação.
Nice. Thank you. Guys, we have a last question. We have time for one more question. So let's do question number 10. If a natural disaster hit your town, what would you do? Rogério, what would you do? Question number 10.
Well, if this kind of thing happen in my city, of course, I would try to save my family, to save my kids. I mean, it is so unpredictable what we can do in a dangerous moment. I mean, when you become a parent, you just think about them, about the children, and yeah, I would try to save them because, well, I'm an old guy already, so they have a lot of life to live, and yeah, I would try to save them for sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's nice, Rogério. Thank you. João, what about you? What would you do?
I would try to save my family and myself, but the the thing is that it's very chaotic when these things happen. So I would try to save, but I already know that I already know that I would be very messed, because it is very chaotic, the things happen. So there are thefts, there are public disorder, and for example, the police are trying to save themselves. So I would try to save, but I think it's very panicking.
Yeah, amongst the natural disaster happening, we have a lot of desperate people who can get into your way and prevent you from saving yourself, right? So if you want to move from your house to your mother's house, you have to face a lot of people and the natural disaster like a flood or a storm, something like that. All right, and Talita, what would you do if a natural disaster hits your town?
Ah, com certeza saía correndo, né? Se desse tempo, pegaria a pasta de documento e, e pegaria minha família e sairia correndo se desse tempo, né? Porque não dá para ficar, infelizmente. Desastre é um desastre. Então, você tem que estar preparado para esse tipo de coisa.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna send you guys on the chat the YouTube link that we are live right now. If you can go and like the video, it's very helpful. And the survey link that you can evaluate this session and give me tips on what can I get better as a hostess. And also suggest themes that you want to talk in the next sessions, okay? So, Thalita, se você puder ficar depois do que eu der tchau, depois que eles saírem, tá? Eu vou parar a gravação aqui pra gente conversar um pouquinho. And guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. Have a nice week and bye-bye.